I'm not going to be one of those people that has to look my grandkid in the eye, my kid in the eye, and go, I didn't care, because you don't have any other. You don't have any other answer.
Is Taylor Swift a coward? Let me back up here. So, do you believe that it is cowardice for celebrities to, at this point, still remain silent on the genocide in Gaza, which in many cases their own government is funding and supporting? So, in this video, I'm going to break that down, including a clip from Hassan that sparked this conversation, as well as a couple of clips from celebrities calling out other celebrities for being cowards. And I'll get to my thoughts on it, which I think are already obvious. But let me first start with this clip from Hassan where he was speaking on Taylor Swift still remaining silent on what is happening.
I don't think it's unfair for me to say that any fucking media figure at this stage that still remains silent on Israel's genocide in Gaza is being a little bit of a coward. Is that really unfair of me to say? Am I being out of pocket? Like, I'm not expecting her to fucking carry the banner over here, you know? I'm not saying Taylor Swift say globalize the intifada, okay? I'm simply saying, like, it'd be nice for such a prominent figure with so much influence to greatly expand the permission structure. And at this point, it's not even an expansion of the permission structure, to be fair. At this point, it's basically to, you know, to save her, to save good favor for her. Because I feel like Miss Rachel was right when she said, you know, it's more of a problem it's more of a problem for you now to not speak out.
So I actually have a clip from Miss Rachel coming up as well, as she was recently interviewed by Democracy Now! But I think the point here is fairly obvious. Now, before I get to the reaction from at least one of the replies that I saw on my post about this, and you know, the thought process in terms of people that think it's not cowardly to be quiet when you have a massive platform, we'll get to that. But I think it's important to establish the reality of what is going on so we understand the moment, and that this is not a typical political issue. So you have Amnesty International calling what Israel is doing a genocide in Gaza. You have Human Rights Watch calling it a genocide. You have two Israel-based human rights organizations, and I covered this when this first hit, B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights in Israel, both calling it a genocide. You have the UN calling it a genocide. Then, of course, you had the ICC arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, where they go on to say, charges war crimes of starvation as a method of warfare and intentionally directing an attack against the civilian population, and crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts. For all of these obvious reasons, this is a unique situation where even if you want to hold the position that celebrities don't need to give their opinion on everything, which I would agree they don't, this is a situation where you have not just a genocide, but one that your own government in the US, in the UK, are actively supporting militarily. So I replied to this video saying he's 100% right. One person replied saying, one does not have to have an opinion on everything. And as I said, no, but you should have an opinion on a genocide your government is funding, particularly if you have the platform to spotlight it while it is currently happening. I don't think this is a lot to ask, but for a lot of celebrities, and some of the biggest ones, it apparently is. Yet you have people like Miss Rachel, who is a children's entertainer on YouTube. She didn't have to bring herself into this, but she felt a moral responsibility to speak out. Here she is on Democracy Now! Discussing why she felt the need to speak out.
As an early childhood educator, I know what children need to thrive. They need food, and food is being blocked from them. They need water, and water is being blocked. They need to be in school, and they've been out of school for 2 years because most of their schools have been bombed. They need medical care, and most of their hospitals have been bombed. So I see precious children, and I see them just like I see my children. And I see all children as precious and equal. My deep care for children doesn't stop at any border. And I saw these human rights violations, and I had to speak up because it's who I am. That's who I am as Miss Rachel. I love all kids.
Now, I've covered Miss Rachel before and the attacks that she faced when she first came out to speak on this over a year ago. But this is, you can't think of a more a better example of an apolitical or non-political type of celebrity than a children's entertainer and educator. Yet Miss Rachel felt the need to come out and speak on it because she feels a moral need to do that. Meanwhile, musicians, where a lot of music is political, aren't speaking out. Someone like Taylor Swift, who arguably is the largest musician in the world, not saying anything when it's not going to hurt her career to do so, considering she has a lot of money, she has a lot of sway. You look at actual data and polling on where people feel, how people feel about this, it's not going to hurt her in any way. And by the way, even if it did, I would hope that wouldn't stop people who are already well off from saying anything. But to not say anything when you are in a political space, which is music, that in itself is inherently political. Being silent is a political choice because you are choosing not to do anything. This is why I find it hilarious when there are these arguments over politics where people argue for the status quo, the establishment, and are trying to act like they're being neutral or level-headed. Neutrality in the face of the status quo, that is a political choice. It is a political position to be neutral and do nothing. The idea that staying silent is being non-political or staying out of it, no, it's not. You are making an active political choice to not speak on an ongoing genocide that your government is supporting. And one of the artists that first called out other artists for being silent on this is Kehlani. So this is over a year ago, May 27th, 2024.
The disorients that is this fucking industry, that is my peers of highly fucking platformed people, well-paid people who have already beat the fucking game, and you can't stop for a second and recognize that we wouldn't have anything that we have. Nothing we do has a fucking purpose without people, and you can't turn the fuck around and reach back for people. You can't speak. Disgusting. This is going to be something that is referenced for the rest of fucking forever. This is not some little, this is not small. This is not light. This is not like a, damn, that's crazy, keep it pushing. What are you doing? You guys watch my stories and you like my posts and you interact with me and you text me and you reach out for features and you fucking ask me to do this and this and this or whatever the fuck. Or you compliment. Stop. The respect, any ounce of fucking respect, it is gone. And again, I have done so much work to calm this for the past 7 months.
And Kehlani has been consistently speaking out about genocide as well. She went on to say, quote, Hollywood could change so much. Artists could change so much. It's so disorienting and tragic and embarrassing and lame and sad to watch it all unfold this way. The silence is so loud. This was the direct impact of her post. Hours after, Ariana Grande shared a fundraiser for humanitarian aid for Palestinians in Gaza, which reportedly led to an extra £40,000 raised for charity in question. And Katy Perry also shared a statement from UNICEF, also shared by David Beckham, and Dua Lipa, who had already been vocal about it, was vocal again. This is the impact that celebrities could have, the kind of money they can raise, that alone, apart from the actual cultural impact of making it more of a movement as opposed to just an opinion people have. Because look, I mentioned polling earlier, and polling is on the right side here in terms of being disgusted by the ongoing genocide being committed by the Israeli government. But those opinions don't necessarily translate to the kind of mass pressure movements that are needed to change what is happening. And that is the kind of power that, apart from politicians who are directly involved, kind of power that celebrities hold in their ability to completely shift the culture in one direction. Now, just to share the post from Ariana Grande, this was the post that she shared that ended up raising a lot of money. Now, actors, so that's musicians. When it comes to actors, Liam Cunningham, who was a big actor, you'll recognize him here from Game of Thrones, has been a consistent voice speaking out on this. And he also discussed this is a discussion with Abby Martin on the Empire Files. He discussed his thoughts on celebrities staying silent.
My next question is why are there not more, outspoken celebrities out there? It's been almost 2 years. We're talking about 20 months into the most horrific thing we've ever seen.
I'm refusing to lose my faith in humanity. But one of the things that has really disappointed me is the level of cowardice. It's not anybody having any power. It's they have brought out and fed off the cowardice of people who won't stand up. And as I said before, what are you going to say when your kids are 15? Or in my case, my grandkids grow up and turn around and go, "What the hell was this?" This is happening in 4K. It's on your screens. It's on every social media. Your only response to when your kid says, "I hope you did something about this," the response is going to have to be, "I didn't care." I'm not going to be one of those people that has to look my grandkid in the eye, my kid in the eye, and go, "I didn't care," because you don't have any other. You don't have any other answer. You knew it was going on, and you did nothing. I mean, that level of cowardice is beyond me. I don't know how you can look at yourself in the mirror and not say anything, not speak up. And oh, isn't that awful when you see a TV segment? Isn't good enough. It's not good enough. And people need to get off their asses and stop this thing happening. And that's with numbers.
And to get those numbers, having celebrities that are in typically apolitical spaces, like acting, like you could argue in some way, some music, though of course a lot of music, as I said, is political. But to have celebrities in these spaces speak out, that is more impactful than somebody who covers politics speaking out in a bizarre way. Like, we criticize the news, we criticize media for not being as clear as they should about the genocide that is going on, and those criticisms hold. But the actual impact comes in spaces where people aren't all that engaged in what is going on. And that is where you have the greatest impact. Now, as he said there, like, I don't, even putting aside just the moral need to do something, which clearly some celebrities don't have. But if they don't have that, at the very least, maybe for their own careers, for your own legacy, at this point, even though I would argue it's late, but for your own legacy, speak out. Do you really want to be looked back on as somebody who during this time didn't say anything while there was a genocide going on that your government supported? How's that going to look on you? So it is, I don't know. It's remarkable to me that people think that people with these kinds of platforms, this kind of pull, that they are free from their need to discuss what they would maybe consider political issues when it is something as serious as a genocide that your own government is supporting.